welcome to today's session on the concepts of classification of organisms for the first semester BSc Zoology course. And here we will be discussing on a few concepts like monophyletic, polyphyletic, paraphyletic groups, as well as like the plesiomorphic, apomorphic, and synapomorphic characters. Okay. Now, so what is monophyletic, polyphyletic, and paraphyletic? Monophyletic group, it referred to a taxon derived from a single ancestral species. Okay. So this is actually monophyletic group. Here you can see all these taxons. Okay. So let each letter represent a species. Okay. So here we have D, E, G, H, the 4 species, and D and E had derived from an ancestor C in an immediate ancestor C. Similarly, G and H species derived from an immediate ancestor F. But in the remote past, C and F got derived from the ancestor B. Okay, so when we consider these D, E, G, H, we can say that these taxa had got derived from a common ancestor B. Okay, so if we take all these together along with the ancestor, it is known as a monophyletic group. Okay, and the descendants means D, E, G, and H. Okay, descendants plus the ancestors put together is what is referred as a clade. I hope it is clear. Okay, it is known as a clade. Clade means ancestors and all the descendants of the ancestors together is referred to a clade. Okay, now I hope the monophyletic group is clear. Now, what is polyphyletic group? Polyphyletic group refer to the taxon derived from 2 or more ancestors not common to all members. Okay, simple thing. Polyphyletic. Here what happens is we have just ignored the ancient ancestor B. Instead we have taken only these descendants. Okay, so what happens is we don't have a common ancestor. Okay, we haven't taken the common ancestor for D, E, G, H. So here what happens, we have a few descendants which doesn't have a common ancestor. Actually it do have, but we haven't considered it. Okay, so such groups are referred as polyphyletic. Clear? Okay, similarly if you are taking GH and JK, it is a polyphyletic group. Instead GH and J, again that is also a polyphyletic group because they don't have any common ancestor. We haven't taken any common ancestor for the study. So that is a polyphyletic group. Okay, now what is paraphyletic? Paraphyletic group is a group remaining after one or more parts of a monophyletic group have been removed. So here we have a monophyletic group. Okay, so we are removing few of the members from the monophyletic group. Okay, we are taking the ancestor, but we are removing some of the descendants. Okay, so what happens is if we are considering only this one, the descendant D and the ancestor B, what happens? This is the paraphyletic group because we are not considering any other descendants from the ancestor. Okay, so if we are taking only D and then the ancestors C and B, it is known as a paraphyletic group. Here you can see, okay, K, I, and A. So that is a paraphyletic group. So here what happened is J has not been considered. So such a group is referred as a paraphyletic. I hope it is clear. So we have 3 kinds of groups: monophyletic, paraphyletic, and polyphyletic groups. Okay, these are actually taken during the classification. What happens is when we consider monophyletic group, all the members of a clade, they are derived from a common ancestor and hence they are related. So while classifying, what happens is we try to put these in the same group, while we don't consider this in the same group. Okay, we actually, when we consider this particular clade, we won't be including J and K there. Okay, we will be including only D, E, G, H as a members of the same group because they have descended from the same ancestor. Clear? And coming over here, what happens is the paraphyletic group. Okay, what happens is this is actually represents member of a group which has not yet been discovered, something like that. Polyphyletic group, when we discuss, these two are actually when we consider, since the common ancestor has not been studied here, the D, E and G, H are not so closely related as D and E and G and H. Okay, so these two may be included as a separate groups, or it could be subgroups. Clear? So DEGH, if it is a monophyletic group, it can be put in a main group. Okay, and if DEGH is a polyphyletic group, D and E can be put in a first subgroup, G and H in another subgroup. I hope it is clear. Okay, we can see with an example here. Okay, so here we have 4 species and consider X, Y, Z as like ancestors. Okay, so here when we speak about the monophyletic group, can say that these lamprey, shark, salmon and lizard, they form a monophyletic group with a name vertebrata. Okay, and here what happens is the ABCD species and the ancestor X together. This forms a clade, and the name of the clade is vertebrata. Clear? Okay. Similarly, when we consider the ancestor Y and all the descendants from the ancestor Y as a single clade or a monophyletic group, the clade is known as a gnathostomata. Okay. And another example, the ancestor Z and all the descendants from them. So this clade is known as osteichthyes. I hope it is clear. Okay. Now that is about the monophyletic group. So monophyletic group include the ancestors plus all the descendants from the particular ancestor. Okay. Now what is paraphyletic? Okay. What we saw is paraphyletic, that only a single descendant, only 1 or 2 descendants from an ancestor has been taken, while the rest has been just ignored. Okay. Here you can see. Okay. If we are taking Y as an ancestor, okay, we know that if we consider all the descendants, it is a monophyletic group, right? And here ancestor Y has 3 descendants, that is A, B and C. But if we are considering only these, okay, and ignoring this one, we have A, B and Y, right? This particular group, it is known as a paraphyletic group. And what is the name for the paraphyletic group? It is a superclass species. Clear? Okay. So A, B and Y. We have ignored C. Okay. So in this case, what happens? We have not considered one of the descendants of the ancestor Y. So here it forms a paraphyletic. Okay. Now the next one is polyphyletic. What we have said is polyphyletic. We are not taking the ancestor. Okay. So what happens is we have a group of members, but these members don't have a common ancestor. That is polyphyletic. Okay. So we can see the polyphyletic here. Here you can see we are taking an ancestor here, right? So lamprey. This is actually a polyphyletic. Okay. You can see this is a polyphyletic group. Fine. Here it is not so clear because branching is not so we don't have so much of nodes and branches, so it is not so clear, but I hope with this one it is clear. Okay, polyphyletic. Now passing on to the next one, the different characters which are taken for studying the what we call classification of classifying organisms. Okay, it is plesiomorphic, epomorphic, synapomorphic characters. Okay, the first one which you need to know is epomorphic and plesiomorphic. So what is apomorphic characters? Apomorphic characters, it is a specialized or derived characters, while plesiomorphic characters, it is a primitive or the ancestral character. Okay, you can see over here. So just consider A, B and C as species. Okay, and here there was an ancestor with the character A. Okay, this is a character A, right? And this A prime, it is character again. So here, if we consider this particular cladogram, we can see we are referring to 2 characters. One is character A and another is A prime character. Okay, and these are the taxon A, B and C. Oh, fine. Now when we are considering A, B and C, obviously the this one, the character A, it is very primitive. Okay, it was present in an ancestor from the remote past. And this particular ancestor with character A evolved into another ancestor with character A prime, and from there arose the species B and species C. So when we consider B and C, the character A is plesiomorphic. We call it as a plesiomorphic or primitive character. Okay, while A prime is apomorphic because it is more recent one. Okay, the A prime character is found in an ancestor which is an immediate one, recent ancestor. Okay, while character A was found from an ancestor from an ancient past. I hope it is clear. Okay, for taxa B and C, this particular ancestor with A prime character is a recent one, while this ancestor with character A, it is an ancient one. So the character A prime is considered to be apomorphic, while character A is referred as a plesiomorphic. Okay, so this plesiomorphic character may be retained by some of the taxa, like over here. Okay, but in some others it may have got lost. For example, pharyngeal gill slits. Okay, I hope we have an example. Yeah. Okay, we'll see. Here you can see there was an ancestor over here, and this is known as a node A. Okay, the point where it branches. Okay, it is known as node A. So at node A, what happens is the character of the four legs or tetrapod character, it is okay. Here you can see at node A they had pharyngeal gill slits, right? And the pharyngeal gill slits, it is present in it. It is a chordate character, and it has to be present in all the organisms, all the descendants, right? But what happens is it is retained in the fishes, while from over here what happens? It gets replaced or it gets covered. Okay, so this particular character, open active pharyngeal gill slits, it is considered to be a plesiomorphic character. Okay, right. Coming back here, so same thing, almost the same thing, plesiomorphic characters. So considering B and C, B, C and D, this one, it is a primitive character. Towards the recent evolutionary stages, we can see here that there was an ancestor which developed A prime character, which was not seen in the ancestor. Okay, so this one, it is a apomorphic character. Clear? Okay, and here you can see an ancestor with A prime character gave rise to two species, C and D, where C, it retained the A prime character, while D developed another character, that is the A double prime. So A double prime is apomorphic character. Okay, when considering this clade, C and D with the ancestor, that is a clade, A prime becomes a plesiomorphic character, while A double prime becomes a apomorphic character. I hope it is clear. So it depends upon the situation. Okay, so when considering a larger one over here, okay, the whole one, A is a plesiomorphic, no questions over there. A prime, it could be plesiomorphic or apomorphic. Okay, considering this species, A prime is a apomorphic and A plesiomorphic, primitive character. But while considering the species D, A as well as A prime are plesiomorphic, while A double prime is a apomorphic. Clear? I hope it is okay. Fine. So here you can see a few more examples. Now, two more concepts we have to check, that is a synapomorphy and autapomorphy. The apomorphic characters can further be divided into two synapomorphic and autapomorphic characters. Synapomorphic characters are the derived characters shared by two or more groups, while autapomorphic characters are derived trait that is unique to one group. Okay, we'll see that. Here you can see. So here we have the placental mammals. Okay, and here the placental character, it is autapomorphic. That is, it is a derived character unique to one group. Clear? It is unique to the placental mammals. But what about these characters? These are synapomorph.